disappointed in the game.
In what way?
I don't know. It just so when it came time to get something done, like Dallas needs to stop them, the Jahmyr Gibbs would run in there untouched for 10 yards. Jared Goff would have all day. Oh, Amon St. Brown, he's wide open going across. He never does that. It was just it was unbelievable how easy it looked. So,
yeah, we were reminded, right, that even though the Dallas Cowboys defense seems to have been a little bit improved, right, these past few weeks, right, and I say in the smallest of margins, right, we were reminded last night again that just they're not a good defensive unit, and even when they are healthy, they're still just not quite cohesive on the back end. I thought really the biggest thing for Coach Eberflus, right, got caught in man coverage way too many times in way too many situations, right, and with their man looks, it just seemed like they were getting out leveraged and schemed up in too many schemes too consistently, right, on the back end. And Amon-Ra definitely made it, made that apparent, right, with just the multiple looks that he got, the deep in cut late, the little angle route for the touchdown earlier on in the football game. These aren't plays where you watch it and you're like, wow, schematically, that was just unbelievable. Pretty straightforward stuff. Kind of just shows you that just on the back end, the Dallas Cowboys, even though they are healthier, it is the weakness of their team, right? And the front seven did some good things. I thought, hey, held up pretty good in the running game against the Detroit Lions. But Jahmyr Gibbs really made them pay more so as a pass receiver than he did as a running back last night.
Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon St. Brown. I mean, he is such a good player in every way. I heard him talking about it on TV when the game was over. I thought they made great points. He's like the energy, no matter what the situation is. He's all in. He's tough as hell. And, Jared Goff, I mean, how many times in the last, 5 years since he's been with, I think this is the 5th year for Coach Williams, right? Is it?
Yeah. So
he's been in Detroit 5 years. But right. What I'm saying, how many times do we see the play action fake? And, Dan Campbell, of course, calls the plays now. But the play action fake come up and hit the crosser going across the field. They're always wide open. And I think they're wide open because they just run like a 40-yard dash at the combine. It's full speed right away. And the other thing that caught me by surprise, you said it already, I just thought, man, Detroit's offensive line just, to me, won the battle. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the greatest run game for them, but it was when they needed it, they seemed to get it. And I thought overall the pass protection was there. And Jared Goff, hey, man, this guy, he's piling on just one really good game and one season after another now where he's really good. Yes, the team is good. The offense is good. But, man, I don't think everybody gives him enough credit. I know I don't give him enough credit. I need to because he's a hell of a player. I mean, stuck with it, works hard. Not the most gifted passer thrower in the NFL, but to say he gets it done is an understatement. So really happy for him. I really am when I watch him play.
Yeah, the Lions now improved to 8-5 on the season, and for them going forward, they have, of course, they just beat the Dallas Cowboys last night, right? They have the Los Angeles Rams now in LA. They have the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Chicago Bears to finish out their season. On the other aspect of it, for the Dallas Cowboys, right, who now dropped to 6-1 on the season. They have Minnesota, Los Angeles Chargers, at Washington, and then at New York to finish the season. And you're right, Big Guy. I mean, I think for Jared Goff, 25 of 34 for 309 and a touchdown, played extremely well. You could see that just even with the fact that they weren't running the football as effectively, right? And I kind of say that in a strange way because David Montgomery was 6 for 60, right? So it was clearly he was having some pretty good effects on the ground, right? But Jahmyr Gibbs was held in check overall. They only had about 22 total carries as a unit on the offense side of the football. But the rhythm passing off the play action, like you mentioned, I think, Coach Campbell really doing a good job, right, of just like constantly going back to that because I think that's the plays and the play designs that seems like Jared Goff seems to operate at his highest level.
They throw more of those routes for big completions than any team. Hell, maybe put the whole league into a bundle and the Detroit Lions still might win that battle. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing that I think of the passing game of the Detroit Lions, I go, hey, a lot of crossers going across the field in cuts. Let me shut those off and see if he can throw it to the sideline. Well, I kind of was thinking that last night, and then all of a sudden he throws 2 rockets out to the sideline for completion. I go, well, that was a dumbass thought. It just didn't work. But yeah, really, really impressed with the toughness of Detroit. What made the game was strange. It was like it at times looked too easy for Detroit. I mean, the run, the throw, no touchdown. We need it. Oh, there's pressure. Now the game is a 1-score game. Tough. It's over before you can even blink your eyes. The Cowboys, to me, look like a tired team physically and emotionally. I don't usually say this word, but there was no juice on that football team. And when CeeDee Lamb, that goes out, that changes everything too. Right. But I just didn't feel I could see Dak was, very frustrated sitting on the bench, and I know he's calculating what's going on, but it just wasn't there for him. To give up the pressure and some of the runs they gave up, just, good teams don't do that, man.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest surprise, right? Is the Detroit Lions, right, really have been struggling, I feel like, consistently to affect the passer. Last night they had 5 sacks, 3 of them coming from the former Don Bosco Prep alumni, Al-Quadin Muhammad, right, at number 96 off the edge. He had arguably his best game of the season this year with his 3 sacks, one of them coming off of just straight hustle. The other 2 just, made a good move at the line of scrimmage, and one pretty much at the line of scrimmage. Jack Campbell played phenomenal in this football game. He's a guy that I feel like on the defense side of the football really has just improved dramatically from just the beginning of his career, even the last year, and last year to this year. Unbelievable strides as far as his leadership, his ability to be a great pass rusher, to win those one-on-ones. Devit Javonte Williams there early on in the football game to force the sack safety that was then overturned. I'm not really sure why. There really wasn't any evidence that really made it that clear and obvious, but he has been phenomenal. And then overall, I think it's like a half full, half empty kind of cup right now, I feel like, for the Detroit Lions, because you win the football game, you're 8-5. All right, you keep everything going. You lose Brian Branch, though, for the season. Torn Achilles, he's gone. And, hey, he's the lifeblood of that secondary.
No doubt.
That, it's important. He brings a level of just physicality and attitude, matches up well against certain offensive players, too, in critical situations. So that's a huge loss for the Detroit Lions. Big game for Jared Goff. I think just overall for the team. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown getting back on track. And I think, for the Dallas Cowboys, I knew that they weren't going to win the game when CeeDee Lamb got the concussion, because he really is just unbelievable. His toughness is really, I think, what separates him from even his teammate George Pickens, who maybe is a little bit more talented and more naturally gifted as far as just his overall ability. But it's CeeDee Lamb's just mentality, toughness, and physicality in the back end that I think is just the difference of why he is receiver 1 out of those 2 guys. And when he left that football game, I felt like, they were going to be playing from behind from a good chunk of that game.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Detroit, the head coach, Dan Campbell, gets it through to him every week. I'm going to say it. They play so hard. I see it. I feel it, the emotion, how they do it.
Right.
It makes me think back to, Bill Parcells. One time somebody wrote Giants really played hard in the game. That's why they won. And he comes in and goes, damn, do I have to give you guys credit for playing hard? Can I take that for granted that we're going to play hard? And when I saw him last night talking after the game, I was kind of laughing to myself thinking that. But he's instilled that into him. That's who he is. Hell, he walks in the room for a meeting, I'd be scared. I mean, come on. He is one big-ass dude. But just the way he's so honest with the players and everything, and it's just one of the secret things about the Detroit Lions that it's hard to talk about, but I see it in their games. I see it in the coach, and I see it, even in the faces and the emotion of the players. Tells me, man, they're really into it. They don't have those weeks where, we just don't have it.
Right.
Those things. So good win for Detroit, man, for them and Dallas. So it's still a tough road ahead. So we'll see how it works out.
It definitely is. I mean, for Dallas, right, still have an opportunity to make the playoffs, right, but definitely diminished. I think that's down to like 51% if they had a percentage attached to it as far as their chances to make it.
If
for
they
Detroit,
went out.
Yeah, if they went out, basically, right? And I think they might have an opportunity to do that. Wouldn't be shocked if they kind of lose one of those 4 remaining games that they have, right? With just the matchup being a little bit on the difficult side. But Detroit Lions, right? Most likely would be going to the playoffs, but still some question marks as far as just, are they a Super Bowl caliber football team? I kind of say no, but you never know as far as the matchups could break in their favor as far as just winnable games.
Let me say this about the Cowboys. There was a side of me a little bit that I was rooting for them. And here's why. I was kind of thinking, man, if they could run the table, and that last game they play this year is with the Giants in Giant Stadium, that would be interesting. That would be fun to go watch. I said, man, if that happens, I'm going to go down there and watch that game live, because that's good. That would be really special. But losing maybe puts a little crick in it. But a lot of good players on Dallas, so we'll see where it goes.
All right, so now let's transition here. Let's go to the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a really fun game, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars are an 8-4 football team. The Indianapolis Colts, 8-4 football team. The AFC South just slowly became one of the best conferences or divisions, in football right now.
Awesome.
Big guy, your thoughts about this matchup? The Colts kind of on a little bit of a losing streak right now, right? Battling through it here midway through or towards the back end of the year. Your thoughts on the Colts and Jaguars matchup?
Well, a couple things. First, I'll start with a little bit of a negative. Have to listen to people. Well, we knew Daniel Jones would turn into Daniel Jones again. I mean, God dang, come on. Can't you get off of it? Come on. Somebody should sit next to him and say, that's the dumbest ass thing that you could say. I mean, he played well. This damn guy's got a fracture in his leg, whatever. And I thought he threw the ball this past week really well. I know it was in the dome or whatever, but I thought he must have been feeling a little bit better because he put some juice on quite a few throws.
Right.
And, Indianapolis, man, hey, going down to Jacksonville, this is my first thoughts. Jacksonville's not the same team that I saw 4 weeks ago.
No.
They've come together, and they're rough and tough for sure. And you know what? The first person I see that in is the quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence is playing with passion, and even his interviews, his interviews are high energy, and man, I mean, he's in that area where, man, he just can't wait to go out there. Throwing the ball, I think, better this year. Yeah, he misses a few throws. Every quarterback does. But I think between the defense, the energy they have, just the presence of the quarterback and the coach is what makes Jacksonville really scary, I think, against any team. I think physically they're as rough and tough as just about any team in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? And you can see here on the bottom part of our screen, if you're listening at home, right, FanDuel has the Colts as 1.5-point favorites in this football game on the road in Jacksonville for their 1 o'clock matchup this Sunday. But I agree with you, big guy. Earlier today when I was on the radio with Bob Papa, I just said that I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of starting to figure out this Liam Cohen offense. He's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable within it. And of course, his rebuttal was, well, hey, what about that Arizona Cardinals game where he throws 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions? I understand all that, but, I'm going to kind of look at it from like, hey, I like the 3 touchdowns that I saw. I like some of the plays that they were making down the field. I like the fact that it seems like he's a little bit more confident with what he's doing, how he's seeing the game, and his decision-making. And therefore, he's making some better throws, more dynamic throws down the field. And for this team, I feel like just kind of like hitting their stride at the right moment offensively. The addition to Jacoby Myers has been huge for them offensively, right? Brenton Strange being healthy and back, of course, Brian Thomas being healthy and back, and Parker Washington. So, like, they got a good little skill group surrounding him, and I feel like they're kind of hitting their stride here at the right time. For the Colts, I can't lie, I'm like a little bit nervous, man. I feel like they're a little bit flat. They're a little bit flat on just the fact that, like, it's been a tough grind, and they kind of reached these new heights, the excitement of that. And now it's kind of like, instead of accelerating through the finish of the year, they're kind of holding on. And, sometimes I feel like that's a negative way to go into this last stretch of the season.
Well, man, I think it looks that way. Look what they've done. Look at their losses. It's not like anybody just goes out there and manhandles them. I mean, that game this past week, it was awesome to watch. Physical, tough, close the whole time.
Right.
And, they're just in that. It's a tough situation when the quarterback's not 100%. But the other thing is, you talk about the 3 interceptions for Trevor Lawrence. You just can't every game go, well, he threw 2 interceptions, that's why they lost. Hey, you ever hear anybody say, well, the defensive line, the tackle didn't do his job? No, we don't hear it. We just,
Right.
the quarterback. That's it.
Yeah.
And I understand they get and deserve a lot of times a lot of the credit, but they also deserve some of the blame. And but it's overdone. Everybody, it's too easy. Well, what do you expect? He threw 3 interceptions. Of course the game it's not a game of perfection. So quit everybody. And then, we'll get into it later about somebody else I have to listen about and every week. Oh, he's just not progressing well and all that crap. But this Indianapolis Jacksonville game, it's going to be good. I can't wait. I'm going to put my eyes on it quite a bit this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, just the biggest thing, right, is just Anthony Campanelli, defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, is he going to fire up a bunch of pressures against, this Indianapolis offense? I think that he does. I think that'll be the way that they kind of try to speed up the game and make it more difficult for the Colts, is trying to bring some pressures, put him in some tough situations, especially with the fact that he might not be able to move as effectively as he had in the past. I picked the Jaguars in this football game at home, big time game for them. Feel like they're kind of feeling the vibes changing there a little bit. So hopefully Jacksonville comes out and represents, makes it a tough road atmosphere for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, it's going to be a tough road atmosphere, no doubt. I believe that. The fans in Jacksonville got to be watching the team going, hey, they're showing us something. They might have it, what we want. Where they go out in the field, we expect and really think they're going to win the game instead of like, we hope they play well today. So that's going to be a fun watch. And who do I pick in that game? I'm going to take Jacksonville too.
Okay.
But I'll say it this way too, Matt.
Yeah.
You'd be really aggressive coming against the Indianapolis offense. I would be careful because even though Daniel Jones is limited in his mobility, he still scooted around last week a little bit more than he did the week before. And he made some really, really good throws.
Yeah.
Hey, to me, they lost that damn Kansas City game because what they do, we're scared of their blitzes, so they brought everybody in tight.
Right.
Kansas City on third down, they're going to play man-to-man. Spread them out. Give the receivers room to do whatever. And, condensing formations in big situations like that, I don't agree with that. That's one where I would say, Coach, no, spread them out. And makes it much easier to see as a quarterback. It happens faster, and it's just a good thing to do against defenses that like to play a lot of man-to-man on third down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point, and we'll see how it goes, and Coach Campanelli is kind of like the scorpion and the frog story. It's just like he might go into a game thinking, all right, I'm not going to blitz a lot, but just it's in his nature. So we'll see. All right. So we got another interesting game here this weekend. 425. We got the Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers. And to me is like one of the more exciting matchups here. And I really can't believe that, yes, on that lower part of your screen here, if you're watching at home or listening in the car, the Packers are 6.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I don't know. That's a little surprising. I mean, that's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure why my voice got so
I like the way your voice just raised there. It was
that's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's about right. It's up there. The Packers have this guy in defense, Micah Parsons. Everybody loves him, and that's part of it too. He'll wreck the game if they have to throw it. That's what you think. And of course, the quarterback he's hot. He had a great game Thanksgiving Day. Was that Thanksgiving Day? It's amazing. It seems like it was
Black Friday. Yeah.
Black Friday. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, can they contain the downfield throwing of Jordan Love? That's what I'm really interested in. There's a couple things. That one really comes to mind. Can they handle Michael Parsons blocking? And of course, Caleb Williams is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league because he's only completing 58% of his passes. So that's what it's about. Well, throw more screens, which they don't do a lot of in Chicago. And he throws it away when he's in trouble. Some quarterbacks that we know, they'll take the sack. Well, I don't want to give up that incompletion. I'll take a 7-yard sack and then throw a screen the next down. Then I'll walk off the field. Not my fault.
Right.
But I really believe in that, And I know the coach kind of said our passing game, I'm not happy with it and all that. Yeah, that's great to try to be honest, but also, come on. You don't have to say that because what's everybody say? They don't say the line's not blocking well. It's not the receivers. Well, it's the quarterback. So puts all that focus on him. Caleb Williams handles it well. And no matter what the weather is, Matt, up there this weekend, Caleb Williams is going to be able to let it go. Okay. That's one thing. He's weatherproof. Size, all the stuff we've always talked about. So this will be an interesting game. I hope it is really competitive and has a lot of suspense. And saying all that, I will take the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears in this game. And, it's really more so just the fact that, like, I have faith that they'll be able to run the football. I really do. I think that's where it kind of comes down to. I just think that they'll be able to control the tempo of the football game. I think, yes, Jordan Love, he's starting to kind of play a little bit better football, but it's also Chicago is really good at just forcing turnovers, creating opportunities in the back end of their defense, right? And whether it's forced fumbles or interceptions or things of that nature, they seem to turn over opposing teams pretty consistently, even against the Eagles, right, who protected the ball, it seems like, as well as anybody in the league. They even got Jalen Hurts, right, in certain situations last week. So, for Jordan Love, can he play controlled enough football, right, where he doesn't put the ball in harm's way? And of course he can. He's absolutely capable of doing that. But I do want to kind of err a little bit more towards, I just think that, like, I like the way that Chicago feels about themselves right now, despite the fact that the offense, right, isn't like all just through the air and all that kind of stuff. The running game is super complicated and tough to predict as far as what they're going to do on each and every time that they play. It's very unique with every single opponent. I think Devontae Wyatt being out for the Green Bay Packers is huge in the interior part of it, right? So you now got one less guy in that middle part. Lucas Van Ness is questionable. Carl Brooks is questionable. So it's like you got a few pieces missing there in that defensive front that are a little banged up and out in this game. And that's where I would think that Ben Johnson, who seems to love going up against Matt LaFleur, right? And he made it pretty evident in his press conference, right? Just like, hey, beating Matt LaFleur twice every year is pretty fun. Like, so it just kind of tells you that, like, Ben Johnson, I think, is going to be very excited about this matchup. It's kind of personal to him. And with their running attack and their ability to cause turnovers, I'm going to take Chicago to get a much needed win against a division rival in this awesome matchup.
Yeah, you say it. Ben Johnson, he is definitely confident. The fact that he took his shirt off after the victory, that was interesting. It was fun. That's who he is. He's a little bit, he's just different from most head coaches in the NFL.
Right.
Not only about, talking about other teams, what he, talked about, I can't wait, Green Bay and all that, but also the way he treats his players. He's very honest. I mean, really, really honest to his players, what he thinks of them, what they got to do and all that. And he likes to run the football. I think we all thought Ben Johnson was going to Chicago and it was just going to be all these great plays. Oh, we can't wait to see him. And what it's turned out to, they just line up and smash in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is.
It is.
I've talked about it. When they get in trouble, we saw him do it with the Giants a little bit, saw him against the Commanders where that won the game for him. And he's going to test the running game every time. So,
yeah, it's a great point.
He's not worried about, I got to get my quarterback always, I got to get him in rhythm and, all that stuff. It just seems like he calls the game exactly the way he sees how it's going. And I think he's a brilliant play caller for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, big guy. I think you make it evident, like, that just, we look at all of the bells and whistles, but we forget that, he is an angry dude, right? He's like an old school tough guy coach as far as, like, it's not about those special plays. It's about the other plays where we punched you in your mouth, and that's what made the other ones better. So,
well, man, it really is the game. We talk about all this stuff all the time, and it's just who is, tougher and more physical than the other team.
Yeah.
And, and going back to what we started with, when I watched the Detroit Lions right away after, 10 plays, I said, oh my God, they're more physical than the Cowboys.
Right.
They're out hitting them. And their offensive line was out hitting them. So, you said it right. Get the team, make them tough as hell, make them physical. And that's the best way to try to find a way to win the NFL.
And the Bears 9-3, the Packers 8-3-1. The Bears remaining schedule: Cleveland, Green Bay again, San Francisco, Detroit. The Packers remaining schedule after this weekend: Denver, Chicago, Baltimore, Minnesota. So some interesting matchups for both teams going forward. Yeah. So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. All right. So now let's go to another exciting matchup, right, that I'm really pumped about, because we got two teams, that are just clinging to the survival, right, of making it to the playoffs at this point. Sunday Night Football on NBC, your son and the rest of the Football Night in America crew will be bringing us the Houston Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Houston Texans right now are 7-5. The Kansas City Chiefs are a 6-6 football team. And it just seems like every week is just playoffs for them right now. The Chiefs, 3.5-point favorites in this matchup. Big Guy, your thoughts about this matchup and just your expectations for this one coming up?
Well, is every big game always at Kansas City?
It does seem that way, yes. It seems like Kansas
God.
City is always at home.
Kansas City's got 14 home games. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It seems that way, though, right? When you look at their year.
It does. It really does. But
and good thing, because they stink on the road, right? So on the road this year, lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the Broncos, the Bills, the Jaguars. They beat the Giants, moving on from that one. So they're clearly a home team right now as far as their win-loss category goes.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Of course, I think everybody talks about this game and many games. One, we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes on Kansas City, maybe some Chris Jones, maybe. And then for the Houston Texans, it's about their defense. It's about Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson and Sheldon Rankins. They not only they have edge rushers, they got guys that can get to the quarterback inside too. And we've talked about the secondary, endlessly, how good it is. Houston, maybe the best defense in the NFL. I would say without question, I think it's the fastest defense in the NFL.
Right.
And this is a even on the grass in Kansas City. Was it last year or 2 years ago they went there and played? And, I thought, man, they had so many chances to win the game or whatever. They didn't get it done. But I think this Houston team is very confident. And CJ Stroud, this will be his second game back from, missing a few games before. He should be better. And I think they can spread the field on Kansas City. And, I admire this. When it's third down, I don't care what you do. He's going to play man-to-man coverage.
Right. And
so you can almost before you even start calling the signals going, I got my best player against a guy that I know we can pick on, whatever.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting to see. Will Spags change a little bit and catch you off guard some? They catch you off guard with what? They catch you off guard with unique blitzes.
Right. And
timing and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it'll be very close, as all Kansas City games are. I look at it at 50-50, who would I pick? But, thinking of the game, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say this is going to happen. The Houston Texans are going to cross one of those barriers, and they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs out in Kansas City.
Right. So you're going with Houston in this one?
Yep, I am. I think I said about them.
Yep, me too. I'm going with Houston as well. I mean, it's kind of strange to think, too, that just the way that we feel about this Kansas City Chiefs team and even Spags, for me, I feel like just defensively for me, just don't quite feel the same amount of confidence for them to affect a ball game like we've thought of them in the past. Right. And it's not to say it's a bad defense because they're pretty consistent. I mean, here they are, ninth in total defense, ninth allowing only 100 yards rushing per game, only give up about 200 yards passing. The one area that I feel like they do struggle with statistically is in third down. They're ranked 26th in the league, but they're good in points per game. They're seventh. And they're good in red zone efficiency, tied for seventh. So they're still a good defensive unit. I just, for whatever reason, don't have that same feeling about them when I watch them, that they just can absolutely just overpower teams at times. For the Houston Texans and their defense, I do get that sensation, right? I do get that, wow, they can just put it on you and they can just continue to rush the passer. And I think that's why Indianapolis a week ago went with a lot of condensed sets, because they were trying to at least just minimize maybe just some of those obvious one-on-one passing situations where they didn't want to put their tackles in tough situations. But, for the Texans, Stroud, second week back, Nico Collins and the boys, Jaden Higgins being out there and being healthy, Dalton Schultz. So I do expect the Texans to be able to keep pace if it is kind of one of those back and forth scoring affairs, because I do think CJ Stroud has been playing good football, seeing the field better. He went up against a bend but don't break style with the Colts a week ago. This will be more of it's man-to-man. If you hit the guy in stride, he's going. So could have an opportunity, I think, for some really big plays. Woody Marks is another guy who's been playing really good for Houston recently. So expect him to have a decent day on the ground. But yeah, I'm excited about this matchup. I'm taking the Houston Texans as well. And it'd be wild to think that potentially after this game, we could be talking about a 6-7 Kansas City Chiefs football team after going to the Super Bowl a year ago.
Yeah, hard to believe. I would say this, CJ Stroud, get those running shoes ready, man. When that defense is all out, they're going to give you chances to run the football. Take it.
Right.
And the other thing is, we watch most every game, but for some reason I watch Houston every week. Maybe it's to see CJ, but whatever. And I sit there and laugh. They never have even the slightest lower level of hustle and playing hard.
Right.
Now, I know everybody in the NFL does it. No, Houston is taking it to a new level. Hell, I get exhausted watching the coach on the sideline. I think he wants to put his helmet on and hit somebody. I mean, he is so high energy, and that's what he is bringing to the defense. That's what he's done in his coaching career when he was out in San Francisco. My gosh.
Yeah.
And I just see it when I watch them play. They're scary. It'd be a team, if I was a quarterback, I'll go, hey, we'll see. I want to play. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I was playing somebody else besides Houston's defense. I mean, come on. It's real.
Yeah.
And they're rough. They're fast. And they got it. So if they can't get it done this time, then I don't know what to say. I think it's sitting there for them to go out there and win the game.
All right. I like it. So we both got Houston, and then big guy. Last game that I really found super interesting about this weekend.
Two of them.
We'll go to two of them. Okay.
No,
so I think I know which one you're talking about, but it's the Bengals and Bills.
Oh.
I think this is one of the more compelling matchups that was this not one of the ones that you had on your mind?
No, I didn't. It's a great one. I don't know why I left it out, but Pittsburgh and Baltimore, that one's intriguing for maybe negative reasons, and Philadelphia and the Chargers.
So yeah, go ahead. Hit on the Steelers and Ravens real quick. Just your thoughts on that matchup, and
well, we got this.
How should we expect for either team at this moment?
Yeah, no, they're not doing anything well. I mean, I think we thought before the season that these two quarterbacks, boom, it's going to be great. Now I know they're all beat up a little bit and all that, but it's turned to the opposite. The quarterbacks are not living or getting done what people even casually expected.
Right.
So, and there's many things to that always. Injury, maybe a little nick, which they could be. Pass protection, the people you're throwing to. There's a lot of stuff involved there. So I don't put it all on the quarterbacks. But man, what have you seen Aaron Rodgers and
Lamar Jackson?
Well, no, but that offense just be so stagnant. And Lamar,
I mean, at this point, though, that's what Aaron Rodgers' offense looks like.
Yeah,
and
no,
as we get further along in this Aaron Rodgers experiment, we're getting closer and closer to the same crappy offense that I saw, a year ago when he was in New York. So,
yeah, that's right.
Hey, I don't know. It's just like,
well,
same story, right? Just different uniform.
And Lamar Jackson, missed practice yesterday. He was limited the day before, whatever. What's he going to be? And, it's teams, what I've noticed, since there's a little bit of difference in Lamar Jackson, teams are more emboldened. They're going after him. I mean, I'll never get over the fact tonight I was watching Detroit play Baltimore, and Detroit just was sending the house. And there was nothing. How about
the Bengals? I feel like the Bengals secondary was almost teasing him on certain plays, right? Because they just were like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do those things, Yeah.
And
so that's the thing.
Well, no, I just want to say, so there's part of the Buffalo game to me with Joe Burrow over there. And you know what? And he wasn't even, I think, close to being sharp in the first half. Right. But I yell about Philadelphia, watch them and do it just one game. They just keep throwing the damn thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's oiled up and ready to go. And I'll never forget, I forgot who he threw the touchdown right down the middle to. A beautiful pass, one-on-one. I forgot who caught it. And Joe Burrow after the game goes, I didn't like the spin of the ball. And I went, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know he meant it.
Right.
But that just shows you he truly is he's an artist throwing the ball. Man, I hate to be that out there, but he's an artist. I mean, it's incredible. His arm has gotten stronger in his career, and man, he sees it, believes it. And of course, his movement in the pocket and all that is way underrated. he creates a lot of opportunities for himself. So, but yeah, Joe Burrow. Where is that game? I forgot. It's in Buffalo, right?
So we're talking about the Bengals Buffalo matchup now, and that is taking place in Buffalo.
In Buffalo, yeah.
Yep. The Bills are 5.5-point favorites in this matchup at home in this one. Big guy, who are you taking in this matchup? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to take Buffalo.
Okay.
Very hesitant doing. This passing game, even though Buffalo, people think, well, you can run against them. I don't think, since he's going to run the ball just to give Joe Burrow some rest, and they're going to throw it. I'll be shocked if they just don't come out and throw it. And of course, even though the Bengal defense played better last week, it is Josh Allen, the running of James Cook. That's why I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in a really close game.
All right. So you got the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I think, Chase Brown, Samaje Perine, they did total up for 128 yards on the ground against the Baltimore Ravens in their most recent matchup. Yeah. Joe Burrow, of course, right, in his first game back, throws the football 46 times. I'm thinking they're going to kind of ease him back into it, but nope, doesn't matter. We're going. So Jamar Chase, of course, right, Chase Brown, Yosevas has been playing some good ball for them as well. We'll see as what we kind of get from Mitch Tinsley if he kind of gets involved. But I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals because I just think that they have like a little bit of that mental power over the Buffalo Bills, as corny as that is. Like they just have tremendous confidence in this matchup. And despite the fact that the Bills were able to beat Pittsburgh the way that they did, this is a whole different animal. This is a team, right, that really does have tremendous belief and faith in their quarterback, right, and know that when he's there, they're going to win the game. And I think that's a huge part of it. And I also think that just, Cook, no doubt, I think that he's going to have a good day on the ground. My question really is just like, man, are they going to be able to pass the football effectively and be balanced, right? And if this comes to being almost like a shootout style of a football game, can they keep up with the Bengals? I do think they can, of course, but I do think the Bengals will ultimately get the win. And I do think Al Golden's defense has improved, right, these past few weeks.
It definitely has. It did. It's gotten better.
Statistically, it's awful still, but like I think they're getting better as a unit as this week is the weeks have progressed, and with Joe being back.
Matt, they could have 4 shutouts in a row and not give up any yards and still be last in the NFL.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
So those numbers you can't correct them. It's too late.
Yeah,
but I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so there's Joe Burrow doing it, and then last week I watched the Philadelphia Eagles and all the talk about them every week. I'm not even going to talk about the game. I'm just going to talk about the quarterback. And I know I talked about it last week, but as I watch Joe Burrow play and I see some of these teams, man, just let Jalen Hurts come out and let's say we're going to win this game passing the football.
Yeah.
They need to get it oiled up and have it when they need it. They got to be able to go to it. Right now, when they need it, they're like, oh, God, I don't know. We haven't done this. And this is it's incredible.
Right.
Just open it up. Let the damn quarterback catch the ball, throw in rhythm, and get the receivers. Man, we're part of the game again. So
right.
I don't know why they haven't done it. I mean, I know it's more complicated and I'm making it, but that's what I see. I heard it from my coaches sometimes that, hey, we're going to let it go today. Okay, so you better got to do it.
Right.
And it's not like, oh, no. It's like, hey, all right, great. Damn, you mean if I throw 2 incompletions, I can throw it on 3rd down? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So,
and how concerned are you with Justin Herbert right now? I think he's projected to play. It's still a little questionable with the injured hand and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Any concerns regarding that?
It's tremendous concerns.
Yeah.
I don't care if he plays and all that stuff or whatever. I just don't know, just getting jarred or getting hit. And then it's going to be in his head a little. Come on.
Of course,
man, the surgery, it's boy. And if he gets hit, I don't, you know what? I'm going to say he's not going to play. I'm just going to throw it out. I think they've already, it sounds like they're trying to make it. He's going to play, but I'm not sure that's just not a ploy.
Right.
So I think what I'm interested more, if he doesn't play, I want to see this offense they draw up for Trey Lance because it can't be the same one that Justin Herbert runs.
Right.
I mean, the Chargers, they like those 40-yard handoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I do.
Yeah.
I think really what we're going to this, and as you see, the Eagles 2.5 point favorites against the LA Chargers in this matchup. And let's remind everybody too, the Philadelphia Eagles got embarrassed on Black Friday,
Yeah. It
on
was
their home
unbelievable.
field to the Chicago Bears. The way that the Chicago Bears were able to run the football for over almost 300 yards on the ground, I think that's ultimately where I make this pick in favor of the Eagles, of just like, they're not going to get embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. I don't expect Kamani Vidal and Patterson and the Chargers to just rip off huge chunk plays in that running game. I also don't think that their running game is as complex as the Chicago Bears rushing attack. So I feel like the fact that it's a little bit more straightforward approach, and with the question marks of the quarterback, I think all those things favor in the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles, despite their dysfunction at times on the offense side of the football. And with Jalen Carter being doubtful, most likely, actually, he is out for this football game, right? That the Eagles are still going to get a big time win for them, despite it being a Chargers.
I agree. I think the Eagles, if they don't stop the run, I'm just saying it because emotionally, everything you want to talk about physically, that had to just eat them up down there this week. I mean, how many times do you think the coaches are bringing that up?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, when you get your ass whooped up front like that, and we all talk about, and I still kind of believe they're one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL, but for that to happen it's unthinkable. Yeah. And it won't happen this week. And the big thing is, if Justin Herbert, even if he plays, it's going to be different. He's going to get rid of the football faster than ever. But if it's Trey Lance, that's going to be a tough situation for him too. You got really mad defensive front, so that's going to hurt quarterback runs, and they're going to make you throw the football if you're in there. So it'll still be fun to watch. There's no doubt.
All right, so we both got the Eagles. So we both agreed on the Jaguars. I took Chicago. You took the Green Bay Packers. I took Houston. You also took Houston, excuse me. Okay. I took the Cincinnati Bengals, and you took the Buffalo Bills, and we both have the Eagles to finish up our picks for this weekend. Okay. Big Guy, any final thoughts here?
Well, who you taking? Pittsburgh or Baltimore? Pittsburgh or Baltimore? Who you got?
That's right. We did say that one too. Give me the Ravens.
That's who I got too.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. I'm taking Jacksonville. Green Bay I took, right?
Yep.
I'm taking Houston and Philadelphia. Okay, good. I got all the sheets. I marked it up. And don't forget our little wager we had before the season. I don't want to
totally forgot. Don't even remember.
So I don't want to crow before, the season's not over, but you're quite a few games down, big boy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got a lot of different, picks going on, and one of them I'm actually pretty successful in. So I'm just going to, keep putting all my eggs in that basket for right now.
All right. Good. I like it. All right. That was good stuff. Good talking.
Hey,
good
you the man.
Hey, man, we got there's got to be a game on tonight to watch, something good. But Saturday football and Sunday football, this is epic coming up. It's awesome.
This is a big weekend for sure. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt.
Many good games. Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you're a college football enthusiast, you got UNLV taking on Boise State. You got North Texas taking on Tulane tonight. So that'll be a fun matchup. Kennesaw State taking on Jacksonville State. So, hey, it's all the state schools playing tonight. And then Troy versus James Madison as well on ESPN.
You know what? I'm really surprised somebody hasn't gone after Dan Mullen out at UNLV. Just think about it. He went right out there, and they went running right from the start.
Yeah.
He's been a successful coach, and getting another chance at it. Boy, I thought, wow, he's not even got interviewed, which is I find it. So real quick, Indiana, Ohio State. Give me a score, and who do you like?
Indiana, Ohio State. Man, this is going to be a great matchup. I say that the score is, let's say, 28-24 Indiana.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of curious to see how Ohio State looks. You finally slayed the dragon in the Michigan Wolverines last week. You're playing for a national championship. This is going to be everything for Cignetti. I know, and not to say that it's not for Ohio State too, but I just feel like this potentially could be oddly enough, the Big Ten championship game, a little bit of maybe a lull for them. I don't know, but it's possible.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm just interested to see how they match up. I think if Indiana wins, it would be I'm going to take Ohio State. I think it's going to be a little low scoring than we think. I'm going to say 24-20 Ohio State.
I like that. Listen, Ohio State, when you watch them on film, they look like the best damn team in the country, right? With just all the guys that they have. I mean, it's all over the place, man. Their defense is just freaking phenomenal on every single level. And it's kind of scary. I mean, it really is. Just like they can cover you well with guys like Igbinosun and Matthews. The defensive line is loaded, absolutely loaded. This kid, McDonald, phenomenal football player. Of course, you got Sonny Styles and Averill Reese, who are probably two of the faster linebackers in the country. And yeah, Reese might be one of those guys too that just ends up kind of being a hybrid of like, he's a linebacker, he's a rush D end, he could do a little of everything. Guys like Kenyatta Jackson as well. So Ohio State is just, firing all cylinders. I'm really curious to see what Shanahan's plan is, the offensive coordinator for Indiana, against Matt Patricia, because he's got to do something a little different and unique if he's going to want to create some sort of separation for his guys on the offensive side.
Well, I did get the chance to do their game against Iowa, and it was a rough game for Indiana's offense.
Yeah.
But the one thing I came out of it going, they're tough as hell.
That's right.
One thing. And the offensive coordinator, Shanahan for Indiana.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, got a chance to talk to him. He's got all of it in there. You know, now the question is what you're going to be able to apply to Ohio State. But I was like, he's like a pro coach, offensive coordinator. He really is.
Right.
So that'll really be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, the only thing that bothers me a little bit, gosh, they got to play these two teams. All right, we already know who they are. Let's don't do that. I want to see it in the playoffs. And
I mean, you're going to see in the playoffs. You're going to see them play against other teams in the playoffs too. They probably won't match up that early on, at least not in the first round, because one of these teams is going to kind of fall down in the rankings after the loss. But I mean, you can make that case for Georgia and Alabama. Like, how many times do we have to see an SEC team just absolutely annihilate each other in a big time matchup before the playoff run goes, right? So oddly enough, in college football, for the Big Ten and the SEC, the best place to be in is third place right now. If you're in third place, you're going to the playoffs, you can win a national championship, and you get a week off before all of that.
Man, that is true. That really is true.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
I think this extra game is just I mean, come on. I know we're talking too long, but Alabama, how many times has Ty Simpson got to get hit and throw good passes for us? I mean, can we do that one more time against Georgia?
We need about 100 more reps, Ty Simpson, for that national championship for us to get that. So, yeah.
Well, listen, if he had a great game against Georgia the first time.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he was phenomenal, I thought.
Yeah.
And so Georgia's, I just can't imagine it's going to be, well, whatever. The pass protection, just the whole offense of Alabama, not a huge fan. The quarterback is making it go. Man, I hate to even say that, but it's the truth.
Oh, it is the truth. It's okay. And I think everybody knows that at this point now, too. They can't run the football effectively. Ty Simpson has to essentially control the entire team and their outcome every single week. The fact that they gave up over 300 yards, right, to Ashton Daniels, the backup quarterback for Auburn, to me, is a huge concern. Alabama does have that little mental thing over Georgia right now, like we were discussing there with the Bills and with the Bengals. But yeah, I'm probably picking the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend to win that game and finally kind of get over that hump mentally. I just don't know if Kirby Smart and the boys can lose to this team for a second time in this setting.
My last words, when I look at Alabama now, I just don't see the same physical traits that I've seen in years past.
Right.
The size, just everything, the speed, it's not the same. Hey, they just look like, when they run on the field, to me, they look like another college team. I don't see any like those big, ferocious dudes like I have in the past. So
I got you. Yeah, I mean, they got a few young guys on the defensive side of the football. But, listen, Kirby is the man, and I just feel like when they need to, Kirby's going to make the right call at the right time. And, I know it's not like a household name yet and all that, but They still got a really good crew. CJ Allen's a phenomenal football player. KJ Bolin is awesome at the safety position.
Right.
They got some good guys that are young guys in the secondary that have improved from a year ago or from at least the beginning of the season. So now it's about some of these kind of no-name front guys that really need to pop off and have kind of that moment for them. Elijah Griffin, big guy. Remember that name, Elijah Griffin. All right.
Got it.
All right. Quintavious Johnson as well, right? Another guy. So these
Can't
are
forget
two
that
guys.
name.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Okay, got it.
Look out for those two guys to make plays in this matchup. But
all right, it's
that's
gonna
all
be
we
fun,
got.
man.
Sims complete. He's Phil Sims. I'm Matt Sims. Did some pro, did some college today. We got it all going on the Sims Complete Sunday kickoff, part of the Believe Network, brought to you by FanDuel. We'll see you next time.